Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys some major breaking news because we have brand new Boruto manga spoilers for Boruto chapter 77, and the first domino has finally fallen in Boruto's prophecy to lose everything, and it's absolutely crazy that we've gotten to this point. But as I've been saying for the last 18 months, this was a Search of Tsunade arc type of a situation. There was going to be some slower build up, but we were building towards the major conflict for a good chunk of the story moving forward. The domino has fallen. Kawaki has turned on Naruto. We've got some real information to go over. So as always, much appreciation to Abdul for coming through this month with the spoilers as well as with some of the raw manga panels. I will reserve judgment until we get the full chapter, just because, as you guys should have been seeing for the last few months, what you get in the actual spoilers isn't always 100% the actual chapter itself. Hence why I always reserve judgment. It looks like there's going to need to be a little bit more context with this one, but we got enough to go off of, so I will go over what grabs my fancy and reserve my judgment for the rest. So getting right into it, man. So obviously the big domino in this chapter is that Kawaki has turned on Naruto, and the way that this was done, it's very in character for what we've seen with Kawaki, because essentially his whole thing of, I'm going to protect Naruto at any cost, and I'm going to use this power that the Otsutsuki gave me to destroy all things Otsutsuki. That is what's leading to that rift that you have with Boruto and Kawaki. When Boruto learns that Kawaki not only pulled up into Naruto's house and looked Naruto in the face and basically said, I don't care if you are picking Boruto over me. I don't care if your wife just slapped me. I'm sending you and your wife to another dimension. And right now, there is nothing that Naruto can do to escape. Kawaki or Boruto are the only ones that can free Naruto. And because Boruto doesn't have the same experience with the Karma Seal as Kawaki, there's a chance that Boruto's not going to be able to access where Naruto is, especially if this is something unique to somebody who has the Karma Seal of Ishiki, because when they went into Boro's dimension before, it was Kawaki's Karma Seal that went through and he and Boruto tag teamed it, but it was Kawaki that directly connected. So that's going to be very interesting if only Kawaki can get there. Now, one thing that really stands out here is that after Hinata slaps Kawaki in the face, after Kawaki tells Hinata and Naruto that I'm going to kill Boruto, I'm not going to hesitate this time, Naruto directly picks Boruto. He tells him, I'm not going to let you kill my son. You're going to have to kill me before you do anything to Boruto. And once this happens, Kawaki essentially seals Naruto away and he seals Hinata at the same time. So this is a huge domino for the manga chapter itself. Now, this isn't the only thing that stands out of these spoilers. This is probably the one thing that is going to be the central talk of conversation, and it's a big moment because now we're seeing exactly why Sasuke lost his Rinnegan, because Sasuke can't access that dimension. Now we're seeing why Naruto lost Kurama, because now Naruto can't fight back against Kawaki. So all this is making a lot of sense right here. Now, the other thing that stands out in this chapter itself is that we have a moment where Ada, we don't have the context for why, but Ada has figured out that Code is creating a Ten Tails army. So all that talk before previously where people like, this is a plot hole because Ada hasn't cut on her Semigon and saw exactly what it is that Code has been doing, that's not exactly the case. Ada has figured out exactly what's happened. So this is just one of those instances where sometimes it's better to just wait and see before we start complaining and screaming something's a plot hole, because chances are it'll be something that gets addressed later on. And that's exactly what happened. Again, Boruto's a monthly manga. People already second guess stuff that happens in weekly manga, and then the same thing they complain about the previous week ends up getting corrected the next week. So it's the same thing here. Like, Ada's been in Konoha for what, 2 chapters now? This will be the 3rd chapter. It makes sense that she's just now seeing it. We just got a longer wait at this point. But I like that we see this because Ada lets them know, like, there's an army of Ten Tails soldiers made out of Ten Tails chakra. Code is continuing to multiply them. So that right there is interesting because we don't know why Code is continuing to make his army even larger. But what we do know is that Code is taking the time to fortify his defenses, which that's one of the strategy elements from not only the 48 Laws of Power, but also the Art of War right there. So we're seeing again that maturation process of Code as a villain. I like what we're seeing on that tidbit there. Now, the other thing that really stands out on this chapter itself is that we have a moment where Damon meets Himawari, and a lot of people are like, oh my God, this means that Damon and Himawari, they're going to get together. However, here's the other thing we got to keep in mind. We got our expectations subverted. So a lot lot of people, they wanted Damon Himawari to hook up and etc. However, the thing that we find out is that Kishimoto just pulled the rug out from underneath us, and basically Himawari is being set up like a son Gohan, where all the signs were there that Gohan had this huge power locked inside of him from as early as when he was first introduced into the story, where Goku tells Master Roshi that I wanted to train my son, but Chi-Chi wouldn't let me do it because she says the world doesn't need fighters. Gohan was 3 years old at that point, and Goku could sense that huge power inside of him. We've seen the signs that Himawari has a huge power inside of her, and it makes a lot of sense. She is a direct descendant of the Hyuga clan and the Uzumaki clan. She's got those genetics inside of her. Both of her parents were bestowed upon chakra from the two children of Kaguya. The fact of the matter is that she comes from a very potent bloodline. And Damon in this chapter, after Boruto says, my sister's not strong, she's not a ninja, all signs point towards her still deciding whether or not she wants to be a shinobi like we've seen in the anime. Damon says it directly in this chapter. It was only for a short period of time, but I felt a huge power inside of you. And he felt that power when he was charging towards Himawari and about to hit her, which means that those natural instincts were about to come out. So that's interesting. I think time skip Himawari, she's got a bigger role in here. This is good. This is really, really good. I'm hyped to see what's going to happen with Himawari, man. Now, the last thing that stands out on this is we're getting confirmation of something that I said a couple of weeks ago, which is that Kawaki has hit a point in time right now where his line of thinking is very similar to what Sasuke was in part 1 of Naruto, where Sasuke had a clear idea of what path he needed to walk. He had an idea that there was a change that needed to be made. However, for as smart as Sasuke was, there was still some level of naive nature to his line of thinking. It's still childish. For as smart as he is, it's still a childish way of viewing things because he is still a child. Well, Kawaki's on the same thing here because Kawaki is directly telling Naruto like, hey man, like you changed my life. I didn't think that there was any purpose in my life before I met you. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to try and protect you. And the best way that I can protect you is using this Otsutsuki power. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to destroy every Otsutsuki that is out there. And again, I talked about that in the video. I thought that maybe Kawaki and Momoshiki would have more of a conversation and Kawaki would learn more about the Kaguya stuff. However, it doesn't look like that's the case. There's still a lot of context that's not been released with this chapter so far, but the overall premise has been proven to be correct, which is that the Otsutsuki and Kawaki's obsession with getting rid of them is going to be why he turns on Konoha. Whatever's happened, Kawaki, his line of thinking right now is that the Otsutsuki have to be destroyed and wiped out, and unfortunately that means Boruto. But it also kind of makes you wonder, is he being a bit of a hypocrite because he himself is an Otsutsuki? Does that mean that he's going to do some suicide pact after the fact? I like where this is going. I really like where this part right here is going in terms of the story. We're getting a clear answer to what happened with Naruto, but also we're seeing the domino effect happen with Kawaki. This should kill that whole thing of people saying they're chasing after Boruto. Boruto is the evil one here. Rogue Ninja Boruto in the time skip. And I kept saying this is a sequel to Naruto. They're not going to make the main character an edgy villain type character like you see in Code Geass with Lelouch or with Light Yagami and Death Note, which was also shown in Jump title, or like you saw with Attack on Titan where Eren Yeager became a villain in the final arc. You're not gonna see that with the direct sequel to Naruto just because of. So I do like that they're sticking with the whole premise of it's Kawaki that is going on the wrong side here. You're seeing history repeat itself to an extent. Now, what's interesting here is now that Naruto has been sealed away, we are officially in the part of the story that Boruto told us about in chapter 1 of the story. You guys have heard me say repeatedly, part 1 of Boruto was a story of father and son. The whole theme of Boruto part 1, the core theme in itself, outside of that breaking free of that cycle of samsara, it's always been about parents and children. That goes hand in hand with that breaking free of the cycle of samsara and also answering the question of, does science fit in the world as shinobi? There are multiple layers to the narrative of what Boruto's done so far, and we're seeing that transition now away from it being the story of father and son, and now it's about to be just the son story. This is good. I like this, and I'll take it a step further. If you just look at it where some of the light light novels had those passing lines where Naruto was called the second coming of the Sage of Six Paths because he had chakra of the 9 Biju and he was the one preaching Hagoromo's teachings and carrying out those teachings. Hagoromo's two sons ended up fighting each other. We're seeing Boruto and Kawaki, two sons of Naruto, one born naturally to Naruto as a son, the other one being a cyborg child that Naruto adopted. We're seeing these two sons begin to start clashing. So this has potential, man. Again, once we get the full context behind this, I'll weigh in more, but this is a really good mouth-watering teaser right here. Again, much appreciation to Abdul. Just looking at the number of pages and panels he's got so far, I'd probably say we got chunks of the chapter, but there's probably another 20 pages still left over. There's some context that's missing out of this. So my question to you guys is, how do you guys feel about the fact that Naruto has been written out the story right now? Are you grabbing your pitchforks in anger? Or are you like me? Are you looking forward to see how this vacuum is going to be filled moving forward? While you think that over, click here to watch this Naruto Explain video or click here to watch this Kryptonian Saiyan video.